This is the Gazelle Ultimate C380 HMB. I was just looking at the T10. That one's a 10-speed, and this one has the Enviolo 380% gear ratio, continuously variable transmission, stepless, so you just twist at any time whether you're riding or not, and it smoothly changes basically your crank speed. And I'm considering it a hybrid because we have 75 millimeters of suspension travel. In the past, they've had these like little mini shock things right here. They don't have the same travel or adjustability. This one has lockout and preload, so you can preload it to your body weight. Check out these tires. These are the Schwalbe 50 km/h rated e-bike specific Energizer Plus G-Guard 5 puncture protection. They got the Addix E rubber. It's 28 by 2 inches, so it's a little bit wider than just a pure city tire, but we do have the reflective sidewall stripes, which is nice. And this bike, I consider it feature complete. We've got these wide aluminum alloy fenders, very sturdy to mount directly to the fork lowers, but I love that they mounted the headlight up here on the crown versus on that arch, because the arch travels up and down. That's unsprung versus being sprung. It's not going to rattle out of position, but you're still going to point where you steer while not cluttering. This area up here already has a lot going on. And they got the side cutouts. They've got that kind of aimability, but it's not going to be blocked by the fender or tire. Just very, very well done. Standard 100 millimeter hub spacing down here. We got quick release front, but not rear, because this Enviolo kind of bolts into position. On the T10, we did have quick release back here, because again, it had a 10-speed spread, 11 to 42, with the Shimano Dior derailleur. In this case, you can also see a horizontal dropout in order to get that belt tense, so it's not like sloppy. Kind of pull that back a little bit and then tighten it up. I've seen some of the other Gazelle bikes that now have a little roller that sort of tensions things up here, so they don't have to have that sliding dropout. Maybe we'll see that in the future. For a bike that could be ridden on light trails, there's a little bit more weight here, a little bit less efficiency than just a standard cassette and derailleur, but you are able to shift at standstill. You get that durability, apparently 3 to 5 times longer lifespan from Gates Carbon Belt drive than a chain, and it's got that center track technology, so it shouldn't go offline and derail. It's got this nice aluminum alloy cover. And interestingly, we don't have the surround, which I've seen on some of the other bikes. But again, this is a little bit more sporty. It's out in the open. These nice metal pedals with the rubber traction. And then this rack, MIK HD, excellent platform you can clip things into. We've got panniers, even pannier blockers and bungee loop, and that nice light on the back by Spinninga. So very visible. Again, the reflective sidewall stripes, the headlights and everything, I really care about that stuff. We don't have a suspension seat post here. I believe this is 27.2 millimeters, and you could add one so you get an even more comfortable ride. Again, we already have the lower attack angle, higher volume tires, a suspension fork, but for me, adding one might be worth it. However, it's gonna raise your minimum saddle height by a few inches depending on which one you get. The Essenza saddle is pretty good. This is Cellar Royale gel, and then the adjustable stem that's already got this pretty good height to it. Adjustable, meaning you can kind of be upright in that Dutch body position, and it's more comfortable. You're talking to your friends, but when you go off-road, usually if you're climbing at all, you want a little bit more of that forward lean going on, and you also want to make sure this doesn't rattle out of position. We've got this handlebar that's almost flat, but it sweeps backwards a little bit, and you can aim it up a little bit or down if you want to, but ultimately I think it's just for the ergonomics of your wrists and stuff, along with these locking ergonomic grips. We got the grip shifter over here and the flick bell. Some of the other Gazelle bikes have like a little twist bell that's pretty cool. We've got the Bosch, this is the Kiox 300 color display, removable, and you can operate the whole bike just using the LED remote pad if you want to. It's color, so as I raise or lower the assist level from Eco, Tour, Sport, and Turbo, you can just kind of get a sense for what you're using without having to look at the display and read it. Bosch does have like a phone mount as well, and I mention that because we've got a little USB-C port at the bottom of the LED remote, but it's actually just for diagnostics. You can't charge your phone, which is unfortunate because this has the Bosch PowerTube 625, very high capacity battery pack, and I love that it mounts from the top down. It's a lot easier to take off and put back on considering there are fenders and it's just fairly tight right here, but they didn't put bottle cage bosses on the seat tube, unfortunately, and they can't really put them here unless they modified this cover, I guess. So to me, it's a bit of a trade-off. You can't charge your phone on it. You don't have the bottle cage bosses and stuff. The charging port isn't up high on the right or on the top. They've positioned it down here on the left side of the frame. This is the direction the bike tips, so it's harder to access. And once you're plugged in, if you bump the crank arms, it could snag a little bit. So to me, there's room for improvement compared to some of the other Gazelle models. Thankfully, there is some friction. You're actually spinning the chain ring when you pedal backwards. It's not one that just spins out of control. So I think this is, it's manageable, and the locking port is up high. We've got these AXA keys. They work for the cafe lock back here, puts a rod through the rear wheel. You could take that key out and unlock the battery pack as well. Interestingly, you have to lock the bike in order to take these out. You can't just pull them out. And what that means is when you're riding, you've got keys potentially dangling down, hitting the tire, getting snagged on your shoes or your pants, especially if you add your house key or your car key to this. But again, having key to like means you don't have to carry multiple keys. When you do take the battery pack off, you can charge it, store it in a cool, dry location, all of those benefits, or just leave it on the bike. The only downside is you need to put the key back in order to put the battery back on. So there's a lot of extra steps with the keys. I feel like that could be refined a little bit. Nice Shimano hydraulic disc brakes with 180 millimeter up front, 160 in the rear, and that's good because as you stop, a lot of your weight will shift forward, so having a little bit more surface area and mechanical advantage in the front is right. This bike is part of the Bosch Smart System family. It has a 4-amp charger that's very compact and lightweight considering that's a faster fill, but it means it's not backwards compatible with some of the other displays and stuff. 3 frame sizes, multiple colors on this thing. Gazelle does a great job, and they have a 10-year warranty on their frame, and they're corrosion resistant. They really stress that. They're a Dutch company. We're here in North Vancouver, near the water, salt water and stuff. So in terms of reliability and the fit and finish on this is excellent. 2-year comprehensive on all the Bosch electronic stuff like the motor, the battery, the displays. And I want to mention that this thing, it can match higher cadence, so 120 plus RPM, meaning if you're in a low gear or ratio with the C380, you spin quickly, maybe you have knee sensitivity like me, that motor's going to be able to keep up. I mean, this is the performance line, up to 70 Newton meters of torque. It even has shift detection, which isn't as relevant here, but it's measuring your pedal cadence, pedal torque, and rear wheel speed over 1,000 times per second. You can see that rear wheel speed sensor is external. There's the magnet, there's the reader. And some of the newer, especially mountain bikes, they have it here mounted to kind of the hub or the disc brake rotor. It's tucked in. And if you pair this with the Bosch eBike Flow smartphone app, you can actually adjust eco and turbo assist levels and sort of how the bike performs on starting, how efficient it is, even the top speed, which is kind of cool. You can lower it if you want to extend your range and be maybe a little safer, more comfortable feeling. So this is just a review short, trying to give you some insights and move quickly on this. I might do a more thorough review in the future if this is popular and you guys are interested. This is a free thing. Gazelle isn't paying me, but I do want to thank Reckless Shipyards here in North Vancouver for loaning me some of their bikes and talking through some of the updates with me earlier. Love you guys, ride safe. We'll see you next time.